Hey, this is Danny from the Magic Our Way podcast, and you guys are listening to the BS Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening,
and good night.
Good day. Goodbye. This is the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast. My name is Austin. I'm here with
George.
Christian.
And George, we have a touching tribute to give, don't we?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief right here at the start, guys. Somebody who had a significant impact on my life since I was born. The show Jeopardy was always on in my household. Every night that we'd have dinner together as a family, you know, it was a show that started at 7 o'clock, 7 to 7:30 slot, prime dinner time. You get on there. And I remember as a kid, like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Jeopardy as a kid, but then you know one question. And like, I just felt like a genius. Like, I remember that first feeling because my parents would always have it on. So that first feeling of getting a question right and your parents being like, oh, whoa.
You mean last week with the trivia?
This kid, I mean, yeah. But see, like, it's crazy because there was literally, as I grew up, I feel it helped me out in just remembering like little stupid facts that you'll never forget. And yeah, no, Alex Trebek passed away this past week. He had a significant impact on my family dinners, which were every night growing up. And he will be missed. I don't know who can replace Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. He did over 8,000 episodes, which is insane. He's like one of the longest running TV hosts of all time, next to Wheel of Fortune and Vanna White. And I don't remember what the guy's name is.
I don't know. So like, obviously it's very impactful to, the impact he had, but I'm not going to lie, when Jeopardy came on, it's time to go play video games.
See,
not going to lie, when I was growing up.
Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah, I too. So I can relate to that.
Now I have an appreciation for it. Now I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, because I know, not to break too far away, but game shows, I don't know, man. I guess from our trivia, we could probably see that. But like my in-laws, they like to do like family feud. And they're always like, I want Austin on my team.
So you feel like you're the game show champ?
Well, at least at the family feud, at the family gathering family feuds, I am, because I always like win and then always win fast money.
Okay.
So. But
you wouldn't stand a chance on Jeopardy.
Oh, probably not. They'd be like, what is A plus B? And I'd be like,
neither would I.
I would be like, what is your honor? I don't know what I'm doing.
So there's a sports Jeopardy that I think I would compete in, but actual Jeopardy, there's no way in hell. I mean, on an average Jeopardy episode now, if I was to put it on, I might answer 5 out of the 60 questions correctly.
They should do like a name that metal band logo Jeopardy. Like, this band doesn't shower. Oh, who is Magruder Grind? And they'd be like, yes, all right, grand winner again.
See, that's the thing with Jeopardy. It's so iconic that I know, and teachers use it all the time.
Oh, yeah, I remember playing it in elementary school.
Yeah, like it's a game in which, you test your knowledge, and I think it'll always be here. They are going to replace him with somebody. Jeopardy's too iconic of a show to not do that.
Eric Andre.
Absolutely not. Don't fucking. Eric Andre is great, just not for the show.
I still think they should have replaced Ellen with Eric Andre for the Ellen show, but kept it the Ellen show.
So with game shows, it's always so weird when somebody new runs the show. Because when you watch a show for so long, it becomes part. It's like America's Funniest Home Videos, but not what is it? Bob Saget?
No. Oh, well, he was at first,
Saget,
and then it was Tom Bergeron. I believe that's how you say it. But he was on for the longest. I remember him.
Yep.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Regis.
Okay. And
then they switched to
Terry Crew?
No, they had I know, like, right now Jimmy Kimmel does like celebrity version of it.
I think one of the most iconic ones for me was the Bob Barker to Drew Carey.
Yeah.
And The Price is Right. That was a show I watched.
I don't ever want to go on that show.
Really?
So one of my favorite bands, Killswitch Engage, their guitar player It's all there. Like you can go find it. He got on and he won everything. And then like instant after he's like, I can't afford this. We had to sell everything. He won the car. He won the trip. He won everything. He had to sell everything. He's like, I can't fucking afford. He's like, I make like $50,000 a year. I can't afford this.
That's the thing. A lot of people never think of that. It's like a Price is Right documentary on YouTube or something. You could watch it.
Oh, I hope so.
Like
now I
how
gotta watch
people,
that.
you have to pay taxes on everything, and it screws a lot of people like out of. I mean, it's but it's a great moment in your life. I mean, that's it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody wants their 15 seconds of fame, and some people really get it on the Price is Right every single day. But anyways, back to close on Jeopardy. I don't think that they will rebrand it. I just think they're going to bring in somebody. They're going to bring in like a really seasoned veteran. I don't think they're going to go with somebody super young, because that show just needs that maturity to it. If you're going with a trivia game show of that caliber, you need somebody who's really knowledgeable. Probably got a good
Drew
voice.
Carey.
I was thinking maybe a David Attenborough, like from so every Jeopardy episode now sounds like a nature documentary.
Half the contestants are asleep.
And who is the Emperor Pink? That's a horrible David Attenborough.
No, that was really good. That was really good. I think it should be somebody like just totally out like Louis C.K. So everyone's like, what do you mean he's on here?
Yeah, if you get the question wrong, he starts fucking beating it.
No,
front
it
of
should
You
be.
want to meet me in backstage in the green room?
No,
green room after
even
this?
better. You get Joey Diaz. They message like, you dumb cocksucker. What do you do? You don't know the answer.
This is what could possibly happen. They just start doing a spinoff, like a whole bunch, like a Joey Diaz Jeopardy. They're gonna like what if
Eric Andre
Guest
Jeopardy.
hosts.
Yes.
There you go. It wouldn't be the same host every time. It could be revolve. God damn it. We got to contact those writers right now.
Make the show now like, yeah, no, because you got to keep it. It's crazy they do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's nuts. Because that's the thing. You have to fly through it. It's not about the host. It's
Never
about,
mind. Joey Diaz couldn't do it because he go off on a tangent about some dude he shot in Jersey
No, Joey
20 years ago.
You know why Joey Diaz couldn't do it? Because Joey Diaz would be breathing in the microphone like this. Somebody would be answering and he'd just be
or he would be like this, be like, what do you mean that's not that? And then Joe Rogan comes in. He's like, hey man, keep that a fist away from your mouth. Like just like offside camera, you just hear Joe Rogan say that.
Joe Rogan.
Let Joe Rogan do it because he could be like, after everyone be like, yeah, that's cool. Have you ever done DMT?
I try to keep it a fist away from my mouth, Joe Rogan. It's just I've done cocaine for 30 years.
Sometimes you take me there. I just can't stop.
As soon as I get close to the microphone, I just
He pops an edible like halfway through like one of the questions. He just fucking, it's the stars of death. What do you mean?
Oh my. Okay. R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
R.I.P. Thank you for everything you've done, Alex Trebek, because Jeopardy is still a definite big part of our culture and society. We live in a society.
Hey, so I got a sidebar topic.
Yes.
So I watched the second Alex Jones podcast with Joe Rogan. It's Joe Rogan's podcast with Alex Jones.
Is this the one when they're in Texas?
In the new studio.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but you can go in and
Let's go.
It's like 3 hours. I don't know if
I've seen it. Let's go.
You watched it. Okay. And this is the new one, not
Didn't watch it. Listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
Potato tomato. It was different than the first one with Alex Jones. This one,
the first one or the second, because there's 3, because there's one he came on a couple years ago, then there's one he did last year, and then there's the one this year.
oh shit, then there's an old one I haven't seen. But
Yeah.
anyhow, the last one this one was different because Joe Rogan is like, he's like, okay, a lot of people give you shit when you say stuff, Alex Jones, because you go through a lot of thoughts really quick. So Joe Rogan was like, I'm going to stop you and ask you for like a proof of like a premise of something you say. So Alex Jones will do his thing. Yeah, it's they're going to make a technocracy and they're going to put it together because they're selling babies. And he'll say, okay, we'll back up. And that's
He's like a parent.
That's not really what he said, but I'm just saying like the way he flies through thoughts, and Joe Rogan will be like, okay, now wait, Jamie, look that up. And he'll wait for him to bring up the thing kind of. And it was a little bit frustrating. No, but what Joe Rogan's doing, I understand.
Well, didn't he do this with Kanye too?
Yes.
In a way, yes.
It's the same theory.
With Kanye's more respective of Jamie searching and allowing time.
Oh, Alex Jones is just a Beyblade. You just pull it and you just got to hope that it ends.
Yeah. Well,
literally.
Yeah. And I mean, in a way, that's what's good about him. But it became a little almost combative. Like, first Alex Jones was like kind of like, oh, like you don't believe me. And then Joe Rogan did a good job. He was very patient.
I feel like you have to be. I feel like it's like dealing like with me with like dealing with my kid. It's like, all right, we gotta slow down here because he doesn't know what I'm saying.
Alex Jones would start ripping about something, and then Joe Rogan would say, okay, hold on. What about this thing? Explain that further, or give me, the article or whatever it is.
And it's not because Joe Rogan doesn't believe. It's because nobody else believes Alex Jones. So Joe Rogan is doing his due diligence for everybody else.
So I like the concept of like the filter he's doing. And then I think Alex got kind of crocked, right? Mm-hmm. He was drinking, and
God,
Joe Rogan's doing sober October.
He was blitzed. Like he was so drunk. I can probably when I was listening to the podcast on the way to Colorado, I felt like I could smell Alex Jones' breath. Just fucking Joe Rogan. You need somebody pour Joe Rogan a shot right now.
Yeah, he's like, come on, we're gonna smoke weed together. Come on.
Take a hit of this. Let me blow it in your face.
See, what's funny is in the last episode, Joe Rogan was like, Alex, you should try smoking weed. He's like, no, that stuff will mess me up. But now he's drinking apparently and smoking weed. Alex
Jones, and I'm just going to say this based on the podcast, and he really started to open up about his life a little bit. Alex Jones he's so fucking crazy that it's like a craziness that I've only ever seen in athletes like a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant, who won't stop until they've proven that they're the best and they understand everything that's going on and they work the hardest. He has so many of those characteristics, but he does it in an unhealthy way. Like he talked about a drinking problem he had. Mm-hmm. He talked about, how he's nothing but on the internet all the time, which causes him a lot of like depression, or he reads like thousands of documents a day that kind of like blow his mind, and he's trying to like compartmentalize all that, but he understands he has a good following, so he has to like produce the content. He's in a rough spot. I really like, he's one of those people where he's such a good mind. I don't want to lose him to something like dumb like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, and I mean, I'm not trying to sound rude, but he's like a kind of person I see committing suicide or something.
Yeah, definitely like being a victim of his own demons that he has.
Yes.
Well, it's also crazy because he was like, I almost want to say like he was indoctrined from birth because of where his dad, I forgot where his dad worked, but his dad worked for some like.
He explained in this episode how his dad explained to him, was it some of the child sex trafficking stuff that's been going on in the government. And that was when Alex Jones was a child, when he was younger, that he heard of that. So that gave me some cool perspective, because it's like, okay, why did Alex Jones go down this path of being like a prolific journalist and being the conspiracy guy? It was very cool. He did open up about his health and where things stand. Because it's been like a whirlwind of events since he's been kind of deplatformed. Alex Jones was.
Yes.
He said, he wants to get everything together that he knows and put his truth out there, then maybe kind of just stop doing it in sometime in maybe the next few years. He just said that, for his health, it hasn't been good. Joe Rogan joked like, oh yeah, I texted you a question at 3 a.m. and you were up and you answered it right away. Just because he's just constantly consuming all this information, running InfoWars, which is a huge operation. It's like a mainstream media tier operation, really well produced, all these moving parts. So, and Joe Rogan was trying to give him some like friendly advice, like you can get a trainer, you could go back to, stop drinking. And
he was jacked back in the day too. Like on the last episode, Joe Rogan looked at a phone. He's like, Alex, what the fuck, man? He's like, you were like a gorilla, dude. What the hell happened? He goes, he was just here the other day too. Did you know that?
Rogan?
No, Alex Jones. He was like a block away from my house.
Really?
So on Cheyenne, there's that voter like place, like, and that's where they were counting the votes. And Alex Jones is apparently there with a megaphone. We need to find out what they're doing with the votes. He sounded like a fucking Decepticon. I saw the videos and I was like, yo, I know that building. That's literally 2 blocks away from my house.
That's nuts. He's a beautiful mind.
Yeah, and
people it's just the whole, I don't know how much more we want to keep going in the Jerry, because I can keep going. I think that culture, this podcast culture has put Joe Rogan on a platform now where he's forced to do that. And I don't want Joe Rogan to continue to do this on every podcast where it's just like an Uber fact check kind of thing, because that was the beauty of the Joe Rogan that I knew and I listened to 2 years ago. It was nonstop flowing. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to fact check a lot. He was bringing experts in, and people were believing the experts.
But that's the thing, though, with Alex Jones, nobody counts him as an expert.
True.
Nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but a vast majority of people don't consider him an expert. But also, like, I'm glad that we do a movie podcast. Like, we might still do a conspiracy podcast. I don't know yet, but like a political one, I'd probably go insane, or I'd probably get super depressed from how terrible the world is. Like, just reading stuff and just being like, yeah, let's just watch The Mandalorian.
I like conspiracy because, yes, it's inherently political, but because it's a thing where people listen to it and they take that however they just will, like, oh, that's bullshit, or that maybe that's true. It doesn't have to be linked to like politics necessarily all the time, which is cool. And a bit with this podcast with Alex Jones, the last one he did with Alex Jones was very normal. Like, they just went off, and list off all this stuff. I understand why he's doing it this time, just to like, he wants to help legitimize Alex Jones.
Also, because Spotify.
That too, yeah.
Well, no, he's just on a platform like never before, man. Like,
I mean, that episode got pulled from Spotify, though.
Yeah, I know, which blew my mind, which made me want to listen to it even more, because I don't understand why they would pull an episode like that, because of all the fact checking Spotify wanted to do on it.
They don't care about that, though. Here's the thing: is like, not to get super political, but the left and the right always want to censor the other side. They always just want to, I don't want to hear that. And I'm talking like extreme left, extreme right. The three of us, where we kind of line up, we'll listen to the other side. We'll go, I'll listen to what this guy has to say. It might be crazy, but I'll listen to it. But I know a lot of Spotify employees are like threatening to quit because they don't like how Joe Rogan
has the
has
tech industry, essentially. It's very left leaning. And they brought up what you're saying on this podcast. The fact that, what did you just talk about? Jesus Christ.
Censoring.
Yeah,
like the left and the right, the far of both will try to censor the other side.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Alex Jones is considered to be on the right at this point in history
because he tends to call out more of the leftist stuff. But he said in his last episode, he calls a spade wherever it is.
And Joe Rogan even pointed out, he's like, I remember a young Alex Jones who was in the streets protesting and, spreading all this shit about George Bush Jr.
Yeah.
It's just, as stuff goes on, he finds, right now they're being shitheads, So it's not really left and right. It's just perceived that way in like the modern fray of things.
It's just because everything's so hive mind now. It's just like, oh, I need to be on the left. Okay, anything that the left says is true. Anything the right says is not true. Which is like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the issues could be solved if we all just went to the middle and just jumped.
I really want you to listen to the newest episode with them, and then afterwards you tell me whether or not you thought that should be censored. Because I mean,
I'm already going to tell you it shouldn't have been.
Well, yeah, but like I was waiting for there to be a moment where it's like that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but That's
the moment. It wasn't. There was not a single moment in there where I was like, oh, this is
it's just how it's shown.
I will say, and this doesn't mean censor it. He brings up, Alex Jones doesn't outright say, but he implies hypocrisy in some of the like rhetoric of the transgender movement. Very briefly, he doesn't say this is bad, this is the way things are, but he implies like, he's like, oh, when you look at environmental science, this side treats things this way. When you look at biology and the science behind gender, they're looking at it this way. He doesn't get in the rabbit hole,
but he hints at it.
But he brings it up. And okay, you got technology industries that are more liberal. That's, if nothing else, that's going to set them off. Just if you could take one reason, if I had to take a shot and say one reason why they'd be mad, that would be it.
Yeah,
because you can't have a discussion about those things.
You know what's kind of happening? It's like, and now I'll relate it just to sports and like fines. Like they fine NFL players weekly for like the most minute of shit. You know what I mean?
It's like you spat on the field, $50,000.
Yeah, your knee was showing. You're not allowed to show your leg, so your knee was showing. $20,000.
Remember when they were fining them for like excessive celebration?
Yes. But it's the same premise. It's at what point, how nitpicky do you want to get? And, be ready to give a fuck ton of explanations as to why you're doing that, which I feel will get to a point of blandness because you're just looking for so much to be wrong. Like, oh my gosh, am I covering my P's and Q's all the time? And then you're going to like for me as a coach, you install rules, but there's some things where you leave as a gray area. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like, do I touch that? I don't think I should.
Yeah, because as soon as you touch it once, you're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over again, or else people will get upset. Inconsistencies. And
it's like them doing stuff like pulling episodes of shows like It's Always Sunny off the streaming services. Nobody's complained about them, but people have complained about stuff in other shows. So the network's just like, maybe we'll just do this preemptively so we don't get a lawsuit.
Right. Right.
But that's the thing, though, is like, I don't know. It's, sorry, everybody, we have to get political, but this is serious because we are a platform that we speak on. And, it's kind of scary when a major person, on the platform gets censored because he just has somebody from the other side on.
Yep.
It's very like toxic.
It could be. It could very well be the end to a lot of I hope it's an end to like this aggressive progressivism, like of trying to do all that.
But for no real gain, though. That's the thing. It's like, we're really progressive. What did you do? We got this guy off of Twitter. All right.
But,
please give us health care.
That's the thing. I think shit. There's going to be a point in time with this internet that there's going to be a Wild West, bro. There's going to be one thing where it doesn't matter what the fuck you can say whatever. There's going to be people.
Have you ever been to 4chan?
Shot. No, I haven't been to 4chan, but I've heard it's similar. That's the comparison.
You can literally watch execution videos on 4chan.
Then that's.
I will say that I thought the same thing, although it's not like the whole internet is that way. But people wonder, why do people use 4chan if all this ill shit is on there? It's a place where you could just say anything you want. And there is no moderation. Now, there is moderation for straight up, like, you can post like CP or like illegal shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're a website. We can't do that shit. But you can say whatever thing you want.
You could straight up go on there and be like, I don't think the Holocaust happened. And like, people would be like, you're wrong and you're stupid. But like, that's the extent.
You could say anything, but there's no moderation or like bump order. It just, everything is relevant as other people just view and judge your opinion.
I wonder if our episode's going to get pulled just because we mentioned him.
Never mind. Reddit.com.
Anyways,
really great.
Let's get into the actual episode. So before we talk about, Mandalorian season 2, episode 3, let's talk about episode 2 again. So there's some controversy. Go figure about Baby Yoda eating the eggs. Everyone's like, he's supposed to be perfect. No, he's not.
Nope.
And I've seen on Facebook, like pro-life stances on it.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about this topic because I saw one article about there's some sort of controversy over Baby Yoda having, and we know he's not Baby Yoda. It's the child. We know that's not Yoda. Okay, just shut up. We're just calling him that.
Can we name him?
Dave. It's Dave. Okay,
Hamilton.
next topic.
I wouldn't want him to be like a Vesuvius or something.
Vesuvius. Anyways, Christian, as you were saying.
I just saw like one article and I'm like, I didn't click on it because it's a stupid thing.
It's just people being mad about, like, kind of going back to the last topic. It's people being mad just for the sake of being mad.
So well, that's why I want to ask you. You've definitely looked a little bit more into this or seen more than we have, or at least I have. Is there like real unironic rage going on over this shit?
So I'm in a couple of Disney groups on Facebook. I looked into a couple articles and there's like Lucasfilm defending it and being like, come on, shut up, bitch. It's fucking Star Wars. Watch the movie or watch the show. But I've seen people being like, that is disgusting. I let my kids watch this. First of all, Mandalorian's a pretty dark show by Star Wars standards. This episode seems to be pretty dark. Like, 2, the kids probably thought it was funny as hell.
Yes.
We laughed.
The thing about Star Wars so far, and I mean, I know you say it's dark, but I mean, there isn't anything that to me at least, it is like blatantly like, oh, kids can't watch this. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
it's like, it seems, I mean, I got to go back and watch because there's definitely adult themes, but
you know, like, why does Lucasfilms even entertain that? You don't need to come up with an apology, like letter for that. Because then,
well, they didn't even come up with an apology. They just said we stand by it.
Sometimes, I feel it's best for the companies to do stuff like that, just so they can like maybe even drive more interest.
Kind of like with the Alex Jones podcast.
Press is good press.
Yeah,
like Alex Jones.
Yeah. Because then I think they understood its irony in a sense that, but I mean, no, because there are people that really would get upset over that, and those kind of people, you just gotta let go to the wayside. Don't entertain their thoughts.
Nope.
People, don't entertain them because they'll freaking drive you bananas.
No, you make a throwaway Twitter and you just take those motherfuckers on. Just try to put them through the damn ringer, you know, just see if you can get them to, like, the goal is you want to fuck with them until you can get them to talk about some like inane shit like, oh, what do you think the earth is flat? Or something like that, just to make them
really
feel
condescending.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into the actual episode. So obviously from reading the title, you know what we're talking about today. It's Cars 2.
Actually, gotcha. Cars 3 background.
Yeah, Cars 3 is on right now. Actually, it's freeform. Cars 2 was on earlier when I left the house.
Oh my God.
I was telling my mom, I was like, you gotta watch this, is the best Cars ever.
Marathon.
So getting into this episode, Mandalorian, the child, and the frog lady land on the planet. Baby Yoda's like, what do you mean I can't eat any more of the eggs?
I'm hungry.
So they land on the planet. Mandalorian's like, I heard you guys can show me these new people. And this one guy's like, I can show it to you, wink, wink. And then they like, it literally almost like cuts to him with like his fingers crossed behind his back.
It's like the Mandalorian never had friends growing up. Like, how do you not see that coming? Like, I mean, I think we all said it. Like, this dude was like, oh, I know exactly where they are. Like a little chuckle. And like all of us were like, yeah, like, why would you go with this guy? And the Mandalorian was, he knows where to go. I will follow him.
It's this guy, these guys with squid heads. Okay.
Yeah, Franny, go ahead and message me right now that you're listening to this. Tell me what that species is called, if you know.
Yeah, I guess squid heads could be a slur.
Cthulhu?
But they
do look like Cthulhu.
The Tusken Raiders sand people. So we've already broken the glass, stepped over the line. These squid heads, okay? Okay. He's talking to one of the aquatic looking fellows.
Yes.
Who are mostly
way more
humanoid.
PC. Good job.
And the guy said, he's like, oh, you know, can you show me where the other Mandalorian are? And this guy says, yeah, I could take you to him. It'll be a long sail though.
And it'll cost you.
And like he says it like they're the dudes from like the hillbillies from Deliverance or something. Like something bad's about to happen.
I forgot to mention also spoiler warning. High key spoiler warning.
Yeah.
I should probably you guys should probably understand that now. Like if it says Mandalorian season 2 episode 3, you should probably go, maybe I shouldn't listen to this.
There's no way they can talk about the entire episode.
Boom.
Continue.
So they're on the boat on the way. The guy's like, you want to see a mama core eat? And they drop some fish, and then they look down, and then the dude pushes Baby Yoda's pod into the fucking water, and it gets swallowed.
Yeah, it's like they're like a fishing boat, and so it's that little gap in the middle where like trap door opens and
you put fish in or grab fish. So they push the Mandalorian down there. He's drowning. End of episode. Thank you everybody for coming. Now, so he's sitting there and they're drowning, and all of a sudden you see three people in Mandalorian armor drop down with jetpacks, and they murk it. And Christian the whole time was yelling, "Squad! Oh my God, the squad!" So they eventually help him up. They give Baby Yoda, and he was like, "I was looking for more of my kind." And they take their helmets off, and he was like, "God damn it!" And he was like, "Oh, so it's more fake people." But they're like, "No, we're a different. Like, you're Baptist, we're Catholic.
We're more modern day. You're like a hick that was raised upon these beliefs that you have to do that." Yeah. Listen, bud.
They were
Get
telling him.
They're taking your helmet off.
They're telling him that he was like a part of the old ways of like a group that's trying to like radicalize the Mandalorians and be like, we need to go back to the old ways. So they're real Mandalorians. They were born on Mandalore. And Sasha Banks, the WWE wrestler, is one of them, which I thought was crazy. And
I will describe one of my favorite scenes with her at the end.
I already know what it is. So anyways, so the lady in the middle, I have not seen all of the Clone Wars series, so please forgive me, but I guess she's a very prominent character from that series, and she's back. So they basically go, all right, hey, if you want us to help you, or like he's trying to find the Jedi. So they're like, we know where some Jedi are, but you got to help us basically like commandeer this like Empire vessel. So they attack this Empire vessel. It's a great action scene. Dudes are getting jettisoned out the back. A captain is killing his own people and then basically kamikazing into the ground. Great action.
It was.
Meanwhile, Baby Yoda's hanging out with the frog people because they're reunited, and he's like
babysitters.
Yeah, they're babysitting him, but he was like, hey, I'm about to eat these eggs. Let's be real.
He sees an egg hatch. He kind of like, he's like, oh, wow, I probably shouldn't have been eating these. He kind of has a moment
I think he got
where
even
it's like,
more hungry. I think he was like,
yeah, but he had to control himself. You know, he was waiting for the parents to turn their heads, and he was about.
So the Mandalorian helps, and they're like, we're taking over the ship because we're gonna retake Mandalore. You know, we're gonna retake it for ourselves. And he was like, hey, what the fuck? This wasn't part of the deal. I was just gonna help you get these weapons and then take off. And so they told him where to find these Jedi, but they said to look for Ahsoka Tano, which is the main character, one of the two main characters from the Clone Wars, which was like, what? So that's crazy because I believe with the Clone Wars, it kind of left off. And you're like, what happens to Ahsoka?
Yeah, it was pretty. And like, when I was a kid, years ago when the Clone Wars 3D movie came out, I don't know if I watched it, but I knew of the show.
I did watch the movie in theaters. I remember that.
And, she was one of the main. So it's cool that we keep seeing them using stuff from that show as kind of like part of the extended universe without being like necessarily a direct continuation or anything. It's pretty cool. Ahsoka is going to be in the show, it looks like, somewhere.
So let's go ahead and get into our favorite moments, and then we'll rate this out of grapes. Keep our naming convention. Yes. So Christian, please go ahead and tell us briefly what was your favorite parts of the episode.
So I almost didn't pay attention in the beginning when they're swooping. So for some reason, I'm going to just paraphrase what happened because I didn't listen very well. The Mandalorian, he explains he's coming into this like fishing port on this planet with the frog
Detroit
lady. And he's like, oh, we don't have enough fuel or something, so we have to go. Explain if you know.
The relay was broken from the previous episode from the spiders.
And that's why he had to go fast?
Yeah, he had to manually re-enter. I guess they have like a piece of hardware, like a piece of the ship that lets him land like autopilot.
Okay. So his thingy that automatically lets him enter the atmosphere and land brokey from the last episode. So he's like, all right, we're gonna have a bumpy land in here. And he just starts going just fast as fuck down into the atmosphere. And it's another one of those scenes where everybody's like jostling around, bumpy and shit. And it pans down and it shows one of the people on the ground looking up towards the ship barreling at them. And I just thought like, oh, POV, you're at Pearl Harbor.
Oh my God.
I thought it was gonna go like you just see him and it's just gonna land on him and just smush him.
But he, the Mando is, he good pilot, so he did it perfectly. Well, yeah, so I'm gonna say he did it perfectly.
They didn't die.
He slowed down the landing at the last moment after they got in the atmosphere, and he fucking landed. But then comically, one of the engines like sputters and kind of blows anyways, and then it falls in the whole thing falls in the water. So it's like, oh, he made it, but we got fucked anyways.
Great. It's a great like entrance. I feel all these episodes have had that. Where it's
just
like a really intense.
shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, think about it with like the what was it? The sand people trying to steal his them setting up the trap for him on the motorcycle in the the first episode. And they yank it, and he has to go ahead and fight them. So like they've kept that consistent throughout, which I kind of like. An intense action scene.
Yeah, they fucking right from the bat. It's like you're gonna get some cool shit to see to come back on. The other thing that I really liked was Oh yeah. One, they had this thing that they took the ship out of the water with, like the locals were helping him. It almost looked like it might have been like a repurposed like Imperial Walker.
Yeah, or maybe like a commercial grade one.
Yeah, like the top wasn't the same, but the legs looked identical. So I'm like, maybe not. Maybe they're just any legs, but I'm like, oh, since there was a war with the Empire, it didn't make sense for some of these places to get some scrap and repurpose some of the equipment. I looked at that as like a cool world building thing. Because it's Star Wars.
Star Wars.
But really cool when the other Mandalorians appeared, right? It's like, oh, because I thought, how long are they gonna fucking tease us on seeing another Mandalorian? Okay, how long is it gonna happen? And they just cock on the table.
I'm here, motherfucker.
There are 3 others here to fucking help him out of this situation. And it was super badass because that sea monster, one of them killed the sea monster by like, you see him fly in the water. Everybody just looks at the water, the other Mandalorians, and you just see some flashes of light. And then she comes back out and she saved the pod with the kid in it. And it was like, whoa, okay. The other Mandalorians, also badass. Okay. And just seeing them fucking just take the ship like a badass. Like I said, me and the boys doing heists and fucking GTA.
Yeah.
Super awesome. The fact that the commander, like, they basically used like an Order 66 dog whistle over the radio. And so the commander shot the fucking his buddies.
His pilots.
And he was just gonna actually kamikaze the thing into the water, I assume.
Yeah, he was gonna crash it so they wouldn't get the intel. But then he just choosing a fucking cyanide capsule anyways.
Oh, the cyanide thing was fucking cool. Okay, so like obviously the Empire now, because they got efferonied back in the war and shit, they're only here and there. They're not so big, but they're around. So they've obviously got some new methods because the fucking commander, instead of being captured or in like potentially used for intel, he had the Star Wars equivalent of a cyanide capsule. He showed his teeth and it fucking like zapped like lightning and it fucking killed him. He's like, I'm so loyal, I won't be caught, and I'll kill myself. Which I thought that was pretty badass. The fact that the Empire called the Mandalorians pirates.
Well, because they were basically being pirates on that system.
Yeah, they were, because they're just stealing ships to help with their mission of taking that planet.
I feel like, and this I could be completely wrong, but I feel like they said pirates, and they also said, are these the same pirates that have been coming back? So it makes me think that there's been other kinds. So it's not just Mandalorians that have been pirating the ship.
Because they said that, do you think this is the same pirates? And he goes, I think they are. So what I'm inferring from that is they've hit multiple ships because they're trying to gain up enough resources to take back over their planet.
True.
That's what I assume too. I could see. Well, okay. Well, anyway, we'll get to those. But
is there anybody else that wants to fight the Empire that could be helping
everybody?
Right, so that could. Jesus
bless
Christ.
your soul.
Thank you. No, but I feel like that could possibly be another tie-in where it's like another major group of people and the Mandos kind of come together to maybe take back their
that's
planet.
Definitely what it is.
Well, okay, that's the question I wonder. Are they okay, because they didn't tell the Mando that we know that they've knocked off a bunch of ships, but that's what they've been doing. We find that out from the Empire's perspective. So either it was just like information that didn't need to be said, or maybe these Mandos are on some shit that maybe they have another goal and maybe they just said that shit about the planet just to get the Mandalorians help.
True.
Not to just distrust them right off the bat, but because it's possible. Okay. And that was kind of open-ended and it was interesting to me. This group of Mandalorians, they want to get the Darksaber.
Yeah, because it's their weapon.
Which I didn't know that it was a Mandalorian weapon and technology, and that's other Clone War tie-in shit. I didn't watch it, but badass that they got some more world building there.
I got that from my crackhead coworker who's a crackhead for Star Wars. I didn't even get that information from Clone Wars.
Everybody's got to have their crackhead
their
Star
plug.
Wars fan to
I
fucking.
have two of them. I have two
Give
friends.
I'm
him
sitting
the
in
info
front of the
drop.
two that I know right now.
It's
we
trickle
got it.
down. You know.
So I was talking to not to cut you up. I was talking to Franny, and probably for the end of the series, we're probably of the season, we're probably gonna have him come on as our
awesome.
Star Wars Dawa's expert.
I'd be
Phenomenal.
down. Hell yeah.
So Christian, what do you rate this out of 5 grapes?
Wait, I want to mention the
Oh, okay.
last thing
All
that I
right.
particularly liked. I know I have like 8 fucking.
We're not gonna have
tangents.
anything else to
He
cover.
didn't have any notes, ladies and gentlemen. This is all off the dome right now.
This is all also like 20 minutes after watching it too, so we're fresh.
Okay, I loved the fact that they made the distinction. These Mandos, these 3 new Mandalorians, they take off their helmet. So our Mandalorian's like, yo, you're not a Mandalorian. You take off your helmet. Then they say like, oh yeah, we're basically a different tribe of Mandalorians. You were raised in your tribe, so you don't understand. We actually regard you as like these like religious cult fuckers. You know, with your shit about, oh, they're, you know, this is the way, no taking off your helmet, code of conduct. So it's interesting that that's like they're building up this world within just Mandalorians. And it's also has a cool meta narrative. Like, as the viewer, we didn't take the Mandalorian's actions as a certain way because that's all we know. So it really puts us in his shoes to see another crowd come up and say, oh, you're the weird one. Like, I liked it a lot. I would rate this out of 5 grapes. There wasn't a lot of action. Like I felt like not too much happened this episode, but I really liked the world building shit that went on. So I'll probably say like 3.5.
Well, George, with the 2 minutes of episode left that you have to cover.
Right? Shoot. No. Okay, there was a lot of cool things that happened in this episode that I liked. I thoroughly enjoy the weaponry. It's my first time ever watching Star Wars, so like it's all really new to me, and like the technology that they have. It always seems to baffle me at least once or twice an episode with some of the things that these Mandalorians are capable of, especially the new guys that came part of the crew. Like, besides that, there's this moment in the episode where, you know, the Mandalorian leaves the 3 that just saved him because he's like, he doesn't want to be a part of them stealing ships and getting their weaponry to be built back up. And the freaking Mandalorian flies back to the same port that, you know, where he just killed, like, you know, some of the relatives on the ship.
Oh, that was before. That was yeah, on the ship. I probably just misheard you, but the ship where they like come to save him originally.
Yeah, so the ship where they came to save him originally, the Mandalorian leaves the 3 because he doesn't want to be a part of well, he has to did he want to be a part of it, but he had to drop off Vesuvius had his babysitter?
Kind of. I believe he was kind of just also like, I don't know if I can trust you guys.
Trust. You're right. Okay, so he's got little Visu with him. He's back at the port, and then the squid people come out and are like, killed my, and it just like, you know, the Mandalorian gets himself put in these situations at least, you know, 8 times that I've seen so far watching it, or that I could vividly remember. It's like, there's no way he's getting out of it. And then you get a badass scene where the 3 other Mandalorians come down, fly in real quick, and just say, no, I killed your brother. And then they just like freaking, not even a second later, just kill like all the squid people in like 5 seconds. It was one of the most badass scenes that I've seen in a while, because it's like, when the squad's got your back, baby.
When you get fresh out the gulag.
Seriously. There's a weird dynamic with those 3. You know, we only got to really hear one of the Mandalorians that flew down to save him a lot. It was the chick.
It was the one lady and then the guy. There's only 2 that talked. Sasha Banks didn't talk.
Sasha Banks did not talk, but she sure did, and this is one of my favorite parts. She sure did slurp down one of those like tentacly kind of meals, and the way in which she was sucking the squid mouth, or the squid like into her mouth. I'm not gonna lie, I got like a half chub, and it was just, that's just me. That's just bros talking to guys here. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
She said,
Yeah. All right.
Sasha Banks, WWE diva.
And you know,
They're
and
not
I'm not
called that anymore.
What
Oh,
is it?
really?
They're just superstars now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Don't ask me how I know that. I can't say that here.
Okay, no, but why aren't they called that anymore?
Because
it's
because of the
sexist.
first 15 minutes of our episode that we talked about today. PC culture that we're living in.
Well, that's what I thought, but I wanted to hear like if
Come out of his dirty little mouth.
yeah.
You wanted me to lose my job.
We want your dirty little mouth to admit it.
Let's just say that he said the reason and now it's redacted by the government.
I'll have to go in and just had Christian saying
Spotify's
redacted, but
for
just
sure gonna
stretched out over the entire.
Redacted.
Thanks. I don't have to stretch you out anymore. I can just cut that and put it.
Oh my goodness. But overall,
I felt a similar sentiment with the tentacle. Okay.
yes.
She didn't say anything. That's the best bit of character we got from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'll say.
And she low-key checked out Mando. Like one time as she was walking past Mando, kind of gave him like,
Well, I feel like she was
Bottom
giving
to
him that
top.
like you ain't shit. Look,
but I also feel
But
like
that could be
she's
hot.
slightly attracted to Mando.
she gives me that Ronda Rousey vibe where they just pay her to look tough.
I feel like
For
she
every
really
role.
likes a man that is loyal to the Mandalorian uniform. Like the Mando probably has a stench build up to him, like a bowl cheese in that suit that she sniffed and was just like, I like that.
It's like when the Christian girl likes the crust punk band. She's like,
I
there's something
like
about
that.
him, Mom. I don't know what it is.
I want some of that.
The Mandalorian needs to get a trad wife.
A
Maybe-
trad wife?
Maybe Sasha Banks is the trad wife. A traditional wife.
Oh my God. I was like, trad wife? What the fuck? Is this some sort of character that I've never seen? But so I will give my rating. Like Chris said, there wasn't a tremendous amount of action in this episode where it was like the crate dragon in the first episode. I don't think anything's touched that episode. So I cannot give this episode a 4.2. I will give it a 4 though. 4 grapes because of the shots and everything at the beginning with him falling into the water, the big world scenes, the squid people, like the visuals in this episode surely were one of my favorites. And I think we've talked about this before with like environment in the show. When it was snowy, wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan of snowy shows. But this one was kind of like a stormy, oceany, kind of overcasty kind of
It was New Orleans.
kind of vibe, right? So you got New Orleans, I got like Seattle.
Tomato. One just has more culture.
Well, who has more
Squid.
culture?
New Orleans
What are you talking about?
and better food.
No, yeah, you're for sure. Louisiana
Seattle has
Purchase.
rain and grunge.
True.
Two terrible things.
A lot of gay people.
Hey man, they're happy up there. Let them be happy.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
I
Can't wait
want
to go
to
to
live
Portland.
up in Washington, sure.
can't wait.
But so you give this what, a 4?
4 grapes
All right.
out of 5 grapes.
So for me, what I really liked was the 3 Mandos. I just like how rugged they were. They were kind of like, Mandalorian has like some bit of like morality to them. These ones are like, no, I'm gonna fucking kill that kid because they're on the enemy side. Straight up, they're just like, nope. I have a goal. We're gonna accomplish this goal. I don't care who stands in the way. I just like how rugged they were. And like, she walks down. She's like, I did, bitch. Like she said that with her whole chest.
She was tough, bro.
She was hella tough. I mean, I have to go back and watch Clone Wars now to see how tough she is because apparently everybody's freaking out about it. But rating it, I would give it a solid like 3.5. It was all right. It's a good episode. So overall, I think it was a good episode. It wasn't like Star Wars 7, 8, or 9. Like it was good.
So where I'll jump in here and I think we can end off on is, do you think this season is headed on the right path? Like, do you think they're building to something that's really going to be like Star Wars, like the Star Wars equivalent? I feel like all the Star Wars movie built up to this one pinnacle and everybody kind of loves it for that. And now this is its own new story. Based on what you guys know of the Star Wars universe, do you think this is headed somewhere epic towards the end?
Yes and no. That has the potential. I like it because it's doing what I liked originally, which is just like the comic book adventures. It's just like, oh, what would a gang get themselves into this time? I like it like that. So I think it has the potential, but they could totally episode 9 it and just be like, no, Mando can actually use the Force too.
I'd be fucking pissed. I mean, among all the other terrible things that have gone on in Star Wars media. But anyways, I agree. The episodic nature is like a strength of this series. And I think they're doing very similarly to season 1, where it's very episodic in nature, and they're just introducing little moving parts, right? Like this band of this other tribe of Mandalorians. You're probably not going to see him next episode, but somewhere down the line, they may be involved in the things that happen. For their chase for the black saber and taking out that planet. That's a moving part that's been introduced. And I think these moving parts will, fucking vaguely lead into what happens in the end.
I'm calling it now. Final episode is the Mando versus the other Mandos versus Boba Fett.
Boba Fett
versus
another
Ahsoka
moving part.
I don't know. I think it could go well, but we'll see what Kathleen Kennedy does. She's like executive something. She like helped on all the Indiana Jones films and all the Star Wars films. Anyways, before we wrap up, just real quick. So instead of doing trivia, I just remembered this tweet from, when was this? This was at the beginning of the year. This guy says, my 20-month-old daughter is really into Star Wars children's books and toys right now, which is awesome. And then he has a graph. There's 2 rows of characters, like Star Wars characters, and it goes Star Wars names and then parentheses according to my toddler.
Okay.
So I think this is pretty funny. So I'm going to read this as if like a 2-year-old was reading this. So we have Rey and it's Ree. We have BB-8 and it's Bibby. We have Luke and it's Goop. And then we have R2D2 and it's Ardito.
I like that.
Ardito.
And then we have C3PO and it's Puyo. I don't think it's a Spanish accent. I'm just used to
I get you.
Yeah.
Then you have Chewbacca and it's Bach. Then you have Han Solo and it's Ham. Ham. Then you have Finn and it's Pen.
Oh
then you have I feel this. It's Jabba the Hutt and it goes Dadba.
Oh my god.
Poor guy. And then I forgot this lady's name, but she's the one that like has the weird glasses, like the circular glasses in episode 7 that helps him.
Oh yeah, she has the lightsaber in the basement.
Yeah. So it's Maps.
Okay.
And then Leia is just for Princess Leia. And then Star Wars is Dawas. And so Mark Hamill retweeted this and he goes, you're never too young to be a Dawas fan. Please hug your 20-month-old daughter for me. Love always, Goop.
Oh my god.
Mark Hamill's just funny, but I think it was funny because we said Dawas earlier and I was like, I got to look that up. So I found it, but
that's
I thought it was funny. Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode. You know where to find us. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Lukewarm Cinema Podcast.
YouTube,
yes. We're slowly backlogging every episode onto YouTube as well. So if you want to see our bright, I'm just kidding. There's no faces. It's just our logo, the audio. But if you want to watch it on YouTube on the big screen, go ahead. Lukewarm Cinema Podcast. We also have shirts. That link is always provided down below. And until next week, guys, we'll see you later.
Cinque.
Cinque.